kind of what they're open to. So, what's
well, I was interested about the Eugens, that they mentioned in the thing there, the tension between Eugens and normal humans. I was wondering if you could tell us a little more about that, about the backstory. And also for Darren, what is it like approaching a character who's not quite human? What do you draw from?
Why don't I just set up what a Eugen is exactly, and then we can go over it. Humanity has gone and explored and colonized this arm of the galaxy. But living in these different habitats, these different atmospheres, and so on and so forth, you end up changing slightly. So you have people who are human, but not quite the humans that we know today. There are some that can release a pheromone and make you see what they want you to see. So if they're ugly, you'll see them as a beautiful one, so on and so forth. When it comes to the Eugens, they have actively taken hold of this process, eugenics, and they struck out and they colonized a system without planets and live on space stations, and have slowly been trying to push themselves to a higher stage of evolution. And because that's for them, they believe that takes so much focus and discipline. That's where they become very stiff and everything, and that's because they believe that they're progressing beyond the rest of humanity. You start to see some of the tensions with normal humans and with the Eugen community. So, to answer your question about the broad universe and what the race is, there you go. As far as the acting aspect, Darren, go for it, man.
So basically the Eugens pulled themselves away from humanity, I think it's about 500 years before this is set, and they had a hard life. They liked the idea of the trials and tribulations, physically and mentally. So thinking about it when I was talking to EJ, it's great because I have so much to pull from, but also it's all bad because I don't want to be categorized, oh, it's data or it's Spock or whatever, but we have elements of it, like the aloofness and separateness of Vulcans and the cognitive ability to data and the duty and honor of Klingons and things like that. So it's really interesting to do that, but not drop into the pitfalls of becoming or doing something that somebody else has done and doing something interesting and new. So we're playing, and I think it's great as an actor to be able to do that and have the sphere to be able to play. And I think Sirius is a fantastic character because he's so snarky, as the Americans say. Which doesn't it's a new word I just think, but he's also he's separate and he's sad as well. I mean, I think that's one of my ideas of him, because the Eugens are so separate from humanity that they've lost a part of themselves, whereas they're more intelligent, more physically better. They've lost that spark of humanity within them, that they can't connect with people anymore, and I think that's going to be great to work with.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun to see how he butts heads with everyone else, and also how he changes and evolves.
Yeah.
He starts out in one place and he ends up in a very different place. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't want to go too much into that one because that's going to be, we'll be giving away a little too much of the plot, but it's going to be something that is unique because as we mentioned, there's a lot of comedy in this, as you saw, but that doesn't mean we can't have heart. And that's where we say Firefly. That's where we keep coming out back with Firefly. Firefly had a lot of humor. It was funny, and that's what made it so popular. But people, there was so much heart in that story. There was so much compassion that people were able to develop for the characters. That's what why people fell in love with it. So, which one?
To address the question earlier, the characters all have an immense backstory, but I mean, to say how did someone like him ever become in charge? I mean, you really gonna ask that question when you look around this world right now and the Seekers in charge?
Yeah.
How did that person get in charge? Truth of the matter is that everyone, who this captain was 10, 15 years ago when he got out of the academy and who he was trained, and I mean, he was a force to be reckoned with. The beauty about this story is, I mean, much like Lost, you get to find out as you go through the episodes, as you go through the seasons, you get to find out who these broken individuals are, who these troubled individuals are, because obviously this womanizing playboy, this adolescent, this immature guy, this is not who he was when he started out. And what you will find out is that there's a lot of shit that went down in his life that broke him, and it makes him a compelling character. You look at House, the medical series, House. That's a brilliant series, or Breaking Bad, or even Indiana Jones. You know, you look at Harrison Ford's Indiana Jones, like the adventurer who's afraid of snakes. You will find out what makes these people tick and how they got where they got, because Captain Cern has a very dramatic backstory that brought him where he was and made him basically hide from the things that really hurt, and that's why he's where he's at that particular point. And part of the really fun part of enjoying the series is finding out these little gems leading you into their lives.